All right, daily trading recap here again on this Thursday, the 2nd of June, 2022. Again, a very short day in front of screens for me, actually starting into the real world of employment just to get some cash back in this account flowing again. So that was the first day today, experimenting with that. So hopefully that can continue on for at least a little bit as we could just continue to pour more into research and backtesting and just reconfiguration, especially over these summer months where there's not a lot of opportunity going on that way. I'm just going to go over dollar volume quick here before I get into a big old tangent for everything else that happened on the day. NASDAQ, $237 billion volume on the day. NYSE, $293 billion volume. OTC markets, $2.1 billion volume traded on the day. Again, only playing no full session automated future strategies for me today, just doing the 9:30 to 9:45 strategy and the 3:45 to close strategy. 3:45 to close worked out both to the upside and downside profit target strategy that I wanted to see out of those that my back-tested little data collection has said. So both of those hit today, and 9:30 strategy did not work out for the upside profit target that we want to see. I think it was just a few, like fractions of ticks, just a few ticks within this first minute candle that we missed of hitting those opportunities there, but closed very nicely with not a huge, incredible downside move off of that open price where I was filled there to take that loss. So, of course, still under VWAP, it was just battling very hard to find the buyers and sellers where the battle lines were going to be drawn on the day. That was a very interesting morning battle. It looked like it was going to be weak and be a red day after this new low of daybreak, but sure enough, recovered after that. Bounced to VWAP again, but rejected off of that once again, but then retried, broke to the upside over there, then of course rejected back off of that, and then fell to a new low, then sure enough goes on this crazy run for 1.9% day in the green overall on SPY today. So yeah, just a little red loss day. I mean, I'm still trading 2 micro ES contracts on both ways, on both of these 15-minute session strategies. For where my account is right now, and just kind of for what my focus is, I think especially for just getting back into the real world, getting money back in the account. I think I'm looking at it as more of just a break away from trying to focus too hard on trades, on charts, on screens. And just so, I get in this overly frustrated mindset as well, too, of course, as Kyle Williams, his monthly recap comes out for May, and he's still $100,000 in the green. It's just like, okay, the thought there is, okay, that's great. That's awesome to see that there's actually opportunity in the markets. There is opportunity every single day. And, of course, in looking at some of the charts he's pulling up, he's not trading anything similar to what I would be looking at for any first big green day gappers or any hard red day movers. He's looking at other stuff that way. But just of course, the just stupidity and little frustrations that I feel in what I'm doing, hard to watch those things, especially for where I'm at, but that is trading, and you can't compare yourself to anybody else. He's in a far different place in his career than where I am, and it's just all about me and my own individual grind. It's my own individual path that I'm taking. He did say something, though, that did resonate with me near the end of his video, in regards to just looking at the small, tiny things, that small margin of error, and looking at that and evaluating, say, hey, if this was different, how differently would it have come? And I don't think that's a valid strategy, because an error is an error. Hey, we have to learn from it and grow. And this world of trading, the margin of error is incredibly minuscule. But in the same thing with my hard $7,000 down day, and for what this strategy still should have been, the session-wide strategy still should have been, when I started implementing it, when I started with the micro contracts, and then of course sized in with the ES contracts, and that's when I got stupidity lodged at me that way. But had I played it the exact same size the entire time, that strategy would have been net profitable. Having stopped that strategy from the hard to green days that we had here on the 27th and 26th, that now shifted the data from what was saying it was a profitable strategy to the downside for the larger profit target strategy I was looking for. Now that is no longer the same sentiment for what I'm seeing as of now. Even through those 2 hard loss days on that, and taking those hard losses, and then now stopping that strategy, overall net, it still would have been a profitable strategy. So I have to keep that in mind as well, through the stupidity and how I worked myself into a bad position management, account position size management, dealing with that, of the stupidity that I didn't foreshadow that into how I was playing it, and had to deal with that the market exposed me in that and pulled down my pants on that. And beyond those little minuscule errors that I made, the thought process of everything that I was still doing is still sufficient is the word that's coming to my mind, but playable in a sense. And the same thing with these 15-minute strategies of limiting my time stop exposure in the same sense of just while I'm managing my position size and account size and trying to regrow and build that back up again so I can sustain the higher unrealized P&L for a session-wide move there with these 15-minute strategies. And the same it's not so much different from the 15-minute strategies to the session-wide strategy because it's in the same realm of it's just played on the data. It's not meant to be any amount of emotional involvement whatsoever or discretionary type of trading in that sense, in any sense. So that even through my own stupidity and incompetence and little errors that I created, that theory and what I've kind of hitched myself onto for the meanwhile is still valid. So I can't in any sense tear that down or just completely botch that and throw it away and try to come back and do something entirely different. I can still look at that and say, man, it's, even through my own stupidity and ignorance and whatever, hey, there's still some amount of validity to there. So I'm going to absolutely continue to plow with that data and not be so steadfast or gung-ho like, oh, there has to be, even if it shows a tiny little bout of net profitability in the past 100 days, 50 days, 20 days, whatever it is, then I'm just going to absolutely try and force it and it has to be this way and just like succumb to all the losses that come that way. And just, no, I think there's a little bit of, in everything, especially with trading, there's a lot of gray areas and all these things. And even today, too, with this 9:30, 9:45 strategy, I was cutting it early before this, like with it, as we're within 2 minutes here of 9:45 and we're kind of bouncing off VWAP here, I cut it in this 9:43 minute candle, just thinking, okay, I think this VWAP attempt, it had we're coming on a little downward trend line. We're still below VWAP. It spoke, past tense of spike, to the upside of that little line. Okay, now we're at VWAP here. I want to see this thing quickly escalate above that to show just even any amount of temporary buying pressure. See anything on the tick if it's showing something there for just short-term buying pressure. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a green day to come out of this. I just want to see those things happening. And sure enough, as prices again rejecting off of there, it's just that sentiment and that intuition was filling in me to say, yeah, I think we're close enough to this stop time frame. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to be saving profits here and kind of cutting it short quickly. And I think I did save myself a few little points. And getting into this strategy, I don't want it to be built that way or structured that way that I'm constantly watching it and adjusting and evaluating. Because even here too, I did also buy a dip with another MES contract and take another 4 points out of it with this hard little 2-minute sell-off that it had. Took it for 4 points to the upside there, which is, again, another risky trade. It could have absolutely just kept dropping beneath me, but I would have been cutting. But even then, the little scalpy that loss was too, I don't want this to be discretionary really whatsoever. The little tiny hits and little plays I do with the MES, okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. With the one MES contract and cutting my losses quickly on those of thinking I'm buying a dip or playing a double top, a VWAP projection, blah, 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 what all those little configurations. But with this timed, automated algorithmic strategy, gosh, yeah, I can't. I came out today on the upside, saving myself a few points because I did it. But again, I can't do that. But I still think there is an element of intuition for how many times I do watch this day in and day out that, yeah, there's sometimes just a little bit amount of feel that can play into these things. So it's just a constant gray area that I walk in with that, but I'm certainly fine with it for as of right now. Just continuing to, build up the account size once again with real cash made in the real world. The real world of real jobs is stupid where I have to wear pants. It is the absolute worst. But continuing to grind away and just one day after the next, continuing to show up, to continuing to create the chain. Link each chain with these videos of holding myself accountable to that and just keeping my optimism in my wits about me. I think that's the greatest thing I can do here through all my losses, through all of my studying and research. Keeping my perspective in line is the biggest thing I can do 100%. So I'm holding myself to that. I sincerely thank you guys for watching. We will catch you guys on the next one.